Good morning, YouTube, and welcome to an episode of Decking with the Donkey. This bike right here is called the Battle Donkey. Long story, but we did a whole entire build series on it. As you can see, it's dope and not stock and stuff like that. But I had a thought come to mind the other day, and the way my brain works is I think about it, I'm gonna do it. So here we are. So essentially, a subscriber of mine sent me one of those DJ horn buttons that makes this sound. And I thought that'd be super cool and obnoxious to put on my bike. And then one thought led to another. And although I'm not going to be able to play the DJ horn sound, I did buy a PA that has like sirens and shit on it. So that's what we're gonna be doing today, as well as, you know, those little control modules that you can put on the bike and make your ass in, make it look like it's having a rave. I like to move. Yeah, I actually got these for the Fat Bob build series because I was, planning in case I did want to take off the rocket booster taillights and only wanted that little strip. I wanted something to, make it flash, draw a little bit more attention because it's really not safe just to have that one light. But went ahead and bought another one for the Ultra just because it's already super obnoxious and bright in case you haven't seen it. I mean, come on, really? So yeah, now we're gonna try to make every single one of those lights flash. So we're really gonna be like a school bus, which means that this entire episode is gonna be nothing but wiring. So it should be a very uninteresting and visually unappealing episode for you guys. But my main problem for today is, I don't know if you can tell, this is right next to my head for scale comparison. So it's a little bit bigger than I expected. That's what she said! Yeah, that's causing some problems because I was initially trying to like hide it on like the crash bar or like under the fairing. Kind of like somewhere in this area, but as you can see, it doesn't really quite fit in there. So I might have to get a little bit creative. I might even have to cut this up a little bit. But Jeff, that's gonna change how loud it is and how it sounds. Thank you, internet mechanics, I realize that. But if I can cut it and make it just a little bit less loud and be able to fit it into a non-obvious spot, that might be the way to go. This is really one of those episodes where I have no idea what the hell I'm gonna do. We're just gonna wing it. So, let's get to work. So I had to go to a different option to get it on there, but I think this is gonna work. So what I did was I took off the original horn bracket, which is right here. Well, this is the cover, but it mounts to this back of this bracket with these little steel clip thingies that clip onto here. So I took those off and put it on the mount for this giant loudspeaker. And I know this is kind of, not how these are designed, but I've got them pressing out, so there's literally no way for this to come out, unless these unthread, of course. But what I'm thinking now is I can just basically put this where the horn used to go, which, I mean, it doesn't look as clean as just the horn cover, especially with this little silver clip. But honestly, if I paint that, it won't look too bad. My only concern now is I've got wires, right next to the jugs, which, I mean, obviously this isn't waterproof to begin with, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of modification. And it's actually working out good because I've got these wires right here, but that means I need to bypass this horn switch to make it constant power, which I'm thinking should be pretty easy, but should in reality, not really the same thing. And also one of the other negatives is that now I'm going to have to, well, I was gonna do it anyways, but I'm gonna have to mount this controller, which not only is for the, but it also has siren, horn, whale, all that good stuff. So beep, 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 beep. It's I'll have to mount that up on the bar somewhere, which, like I said, I was gonna do anyways. Problem is that it came with this cheapy little plastic mount. Like I said, guys, this thing was 25 bucks on Amazon. I'm not complaining that it's cheap. I'm just letting you know that it's cheap, which this is for sure going to break at some point. But the back of this is just like any standard CB, you know, clip thing. So I'm thinking I should be able to get online and on Amazon or something and find a metal one to mount to the bars. And what I'm basically thinking of doing temporarily until that one breaks is using this sticky tape that they used, and I'm going to drill out these holes. So I'll do sticky tape as well as zip ties. So this won't go anywhere, but like I said, this is going to break, I assure you that. But at that point, I'll be able to honk my horn from the bars. It'll just be, you know, a little bit more of a reach, but I think it'll be all right. You guys don't worry about it. It's not your bike. So back to work. Guys, so the bypassing the horn switch, that didn't work. Everything is built into the little motherboard chip thing back here, which I should have known that. I've taken that thing apart. Also, I definitely broke this button up here, which is pretty hilarious considering when I changed those bars, I was super careful with this button. I was like, oh my god, it's so fragile. And then I put a lot of pressure on it, it came off like, oh, this thing isn't fragile at all. So I had that mindset going into it, that it wasn't fragile, and it was fragile. Anyways, I mounted it up and I found a hot wire. It's actually one of the tail lights, the tail lights. So when the tail lights are on, this will be able to be on, which means anytime the bike is on, it should be on. It's kind of gonna work out even better because now I get to keep, no, I don't get to keep my horn button. But I'm not bypassing any switches, so if I want to put the horn back on, it's fine. Also, this means I'm not gonna have to splice into any of the horn wires. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna pull the tank, which might seem a little drastic for just some wiring, but trust me, taking this tank off is stupid easy. I think it's 3 bolts, pulls right off, and it'll make this rest of this wiring a whole lot easier. So I'm gonna get to work on getting this tank off. Alright guys, so another little update. Everything is wired up into the bike. I still have to mount the control, which I'm doing right now with one hand. I don't know why I didn't do that before I turned this camera on. But theoretically, this should not be turning on. Okay. Now that we turn the bike on, this should turn on. And it's not turning on. well, time to troubleshoot. I fixed it. I tracked it down to a bad ground down here on this side. The little pin connector didn't go through. So, only bad thing is that I had to undo all my nice, pretty shrink wrap that I was so proud of. But, oh well. So now, oh, yeah. Ow! Holy shit, guys. Oh, wow. RIP headphone users. You're in protection. All right, let's see what we got here. That is stupid loud.
Check it. Get 25% off Rockford product using code B&B25. Over.
Wow, that's fucking stupid. So it's the next day. So essentially what happened last night is I tried to hook up this little tail light flasher thing, you know, the rave maker as I call it. And it just wouldn't do what I want it to do. So I first tried to hook it up between the bike and the Zero 3D controller thing that operates the bag blades and the inner filler light things. That didn't work. So I switched it over to just the regular single tail light. That didn't work. And then I realized that I wasn't using the right wire. And I hooked that up, and then it was supposed to just be controlling the single rear tail light, and it was controlling the bag blades and the filler lights. So no earthly idea how that happened. Got a couple more things I'm gonna try, but it's not looking good, to be honest. I think that that Zero 3D controller kind of doesn't mess things up, but it's, you know, throwing different loads and things like that. So I'm thinking this might not work out. But like I said, I'm gonna try a couple more things and hopefully get it to work. So more wiring. Let's go. Quit! Alright guys, so there you have it. Like I said, I quit on the whole flasher thing. I tried literally every single thing I could. There was definitely some times I probably cut and soldered that thing at least a dozen times, not even joking. A couple of them were my fault. I will definitely admit that I did some stupid things and hooked them up to the wrong wires, left the things unplugged, yada yada yada. But once I got the grasp of it, it just still was not working. You guys saw I was able to get it hooked up to the main harness, and it was flashing, but it was flashing the turn signal portion of all the Zero stuff. So pretty sure that has to do with the Zero encoder thing that, you know, makes the things go. But then I hooked up to the touring pack and it did nothing. So I literally am just at a loss to as to what I'm doing wrong, or if it's even compatible with this bike, or yada yada yada. But anyways, if you stuck around to this part of the video, you get to hear the real reason why I put a PA speaker system on my bike. So I will fully admit, it started as a childish thought, and childish things will definitely be happening with that. But the reason I justify spending the money on it and doing the modifications on the bike for it is I'm doing the Texas Roundup come October, which is basically I'm taking any rider who wants to go from Texas up to the world record attempt up in Paris, Texas. And we're gonna be making, I think, like 9 stops at a bunch of dealerships and truck stops and everything like that. And I will have to be giving safety speeches at each one of those stops. So I figured having a PA system on the bike would actually be a pretty responsible thing to have. But mostly it was for, you know, the childish antics and content for you guys. So we'll see what kind of trouble we can get in with that. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you want to know what that PA system is, I'll go ahead and link it down in the description, as well as those little the Rave Maker LED things, since even though they didn't work, maybe they'll work for you. I'm pretty confident they're still gonna work on the Fat Bob, but we will see. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't already, go ahead and punch that subscribe button. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.